seat at the table with some men with confidence.
And welcome to Men in Confidence Sharing, where we, the men of a certain age, share our thoughts, ideas, and opinions in confidence. And today, we're joined by the whole crew. We have myself, the host, Tony, and we're joined by Rhino, Sean, and Terrence. So let's go one by one and say hello to everyone. Hello, Sean.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing?
Hello, Rhino.
What's good, everybody?
And hello, Terrence.
Greetings and salutations, people. Your boy is back.
We are together, indeed. So let's talk about people that are not quite good at being together. Not good at cooperation. Let's talk about toxic folk, toxic people. So I'm just going to throw this question out to the group. I want you to give me your interpretation, or could you define what it means to be toxic? So I'll go one by one, and whoever wants to go first.
Toxic people are people who can't enjoy peace. Something has to be wrong, and if something isn't wrong, they're going to make it wrong. Or maybe they're having some internal problem. And so they decide, you know what? God woke me up today, and so I'm going to make it your problem. These people, they enter our lives, and they are the Joker to our Batman. And we could either let them reign, or we could throw them in Arkham Asylum where they belong. But we meet these people, and they come and they're throwing up all the storms, and they're removing all the nails from the equipment, all the screws, just because they want to. Some people really do enjoy just watching the world burn.
Stepped on my line, man. You made the Batman reference, and I was absolutely going to go in with that. Some men just like to watch the world burn.
Yes.
Okay, so on that note, I'm going to have to move in a different direction and say that toxic people are people who wake up choosing violence. This is just their mantra. It's like, if I can't be happy, no one's gonna be happy. Or actually, since we're doing kind of a movie theme thing here, in my head I started hearing another song, and I have kids, so forgive me, but I don't know if y'all remember that Pharrell song from Despicable Me, I'm having a bad day. That you know that those are toxic people. They just start there. I'm having a bad day, and they never move past that to the other song, which is happy. Nah. They don't get to there. They just stay on that one on repeat all day long. And you know, there are several examples of toxic people. People who are self-centered. People who are one way in your face but a different way behind your back. People who disagree just for sake of keeping up contention. We could go down a whole rabbit hole just on different types of toxic people, but they are absolutely out there, and avoid at all costs if possible.
You know, those people that, in my opinion, that are in an environment, and if you remove them from that environment, there's so much peace. We all got those people that we know, you may not even realize it, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, why is this such a good day? Oh, so-and-so is not here. So-and-so ain't around me. I'm just like leveled out. So to me, a toxic person is those people that like, and it still fits all the mantras of what y'all saying, but I also say, in addition, they seem to ignite other people. You know what I mean? It's like when y'all use the Batman reference, it's a great reference. It's like the villain. It's like the opposite of uplifting. It's like you insert them into an environment, and all of a sudden, all the workers are on strike. You insert them into an environment, and you have an uproar. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's, to me, like, when I first think of a toxic person, that's the main thing I think of. Is that person that's like, everybody else is vibing. This person starts saying something, and everybody's looking like, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, we don't understand. What are you saying? Nobody, you know what? Go someplace else, man. Just go someplace else. So, I don't know. That's my definition. By very definition, that's what I use to recognize toxic people. When they're removed from the environment, when I get from around them, I go, whew. Feel better. It's a better day.
So, a couple of things come to mind. Number one, 2 words: energy vampires. Like, nothing will suck the life out of you more than being around a toxic person.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Make you don't want to do nothing, make you don't want to go nowhere, make you don't want to even try. Why? Because it's wrong. Because it's wrong. Because it's wrong. Walk out the front door. Why you walk out the front door? Why you ain't walk out the back door? Get some ice water. Why you ain't get a bottle of wine? Why you can't? It's always something. It's always something. And if you want a movie analog, I'll give you the movie Life. Just can't get right. You just no matter what you try, you just can't get right. Like, you can't do right by him. You can't get right with him. Something always wrong with him. Last week it was their dog. This week it was their auntie. Next week it's their cousin. Yeah,
no justice, no peace, no nothing.
I lost my job.
Next day it's just the air.
I had a flat tire on the way to losing my job, and my house caught fire, and just everything always wrong, never right. You never see eye to eye. Anytime you try to bring some positivity in the room, they just say smash it, they pull a LL Cool J and crush it like a jelly bean, I guess it was a pretty sunny day. Well, it's gonna rain later.
Yeah. It gonna rain.
Seems like there's nothing ever that you can do to turn that frown upside down. It's
Never be
Right.
satisfied.
that stink mean energy.
Yes, sir.
See a sunny day and be like, this is some old BS right here.
Sun all out, shining bright in my face.
People playing things growing. What's up with that? But anyway, so there's obviously toxic people, more than Baskin Robbins, 32 flavors, they come in all shapes and sizes, colors, and creeds. How do you handle a toxic person if you can't avoid them entirely?
Well, I have a toxic person that I haven't been able to avoid because, and bear with me here, I'm going to try not to reveal too much information. But she's a passenger on my bus, a regular passenger. And if you've never met a passive-aggressive person, this woman is absolutely passive-aggressive. And I can't start down the road driving the bus at 80 miles an hour and then push her out. I can't do that. I lose my job. I go to jail. I go to prison. So I gotta keep to our company motto and be nice. And so she would get on the bus and she would just nicely, in a nice way, start complaining about everything, about my driving, about the bus, about the road, and somehow it's my fault. Making it out to be like it's my fault. But she's not talking to me. she's talking to her friend on the bus or other people on the bus. And one time I can't leave without, checking to make sure everybody's either on the bus. I can't leave if someone's walking up to the bus and my clock is telling me I gotta go now. I gotta wait. And so I have to look and check to make sure nobody's coming. And one time when I did that, I saw her in my peripherals. She was sitting there with her arms closed. She started flipping her hand as if to get me to move along. And I almost done something I haven't done in years. I almost flipped her off. That's completely out of character for me, but that's how her toxicity was weighing on me. It was pushing me to be the worst version of me. It was pushing me to match her hatred. And after she got off my bus and I'm driving, I found myself making loops, and I'm still thinking about this lady. And I'm like, why am I thinking about this lady? I've allowed her to get into my head. And so I'm like, the problem isn't me. The problem is clearly her. There's something going on in her life that's causing her to be tumultuous like this. So she's like this, and she's having these issues, and so she's making it my problem, and she's making it everybody else's problem. And on top of that, she's a supervisor. The worst kind of a toxic person. So I'm like, okay. For me to maintain my sanity, I can't respond to her like that. So the next day when she got on the bus, I said, good morning. And I just left it at that. I didn't say anything else to her. And it must have slapped her in the face that I said good morning to her and was nice. Because she was like, she seemed to respond like, didn't you see how rude I was being to you yesterday? And you're going to be nice to me today? But she was good that day. And now she's taken to doing something else. Now she's taken to greeting me in other languages. At first it was French, and now she's switched to Spanish. And last night I responded to her in oh yeah, she's special. She's really special. And I used to tell people, like when I did security, I used to tell people, y'all lucky I care about my job. Y'all lucky, because y'all don't know the kind of chaos that I conjure up in my head. I shouldn't be thinking these things, but you guys in this job makes me think these things. But I'm going to maintain my sanity. I'm not going to jail today. I'm just going to be nice, and I'm just going to endure it, and I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to ignore you today, and I'm just going to be nice. And so the best way that I could deal with this toxic individual was just to be nice and then leave it at that. Don't even think about it anymore until the next day. And then when the next day comes, be nice and then don't think about it anymore. Taking into consideration something that I read in the Bible about having done all to stand therefore. After you've stood as much as you can stand, keep standing. So that's the best way that I can deal with this individual. And clearly pushing her off the bus isn't the answer. Me matching her energy with the violence that occurs into my head, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I can't, and I won't. I'm not going to do that. There's a better way to deal with this. I'm just going to be nice and ignore it.
So, Ronald said something that really stood out to me just now in the process of thinking about toxic people and how to deal with them if you can't avoid them. And the thing that stood out the most was that whole getting in your head aspect of it. Because I think that is what frustrates me more than the toxic person themselves sometimes, is the fact that long after the situation is over, and they've probably moved on with their day and have proceeded on with whatever else they got going on, I'm still stuck replaying and looping this situation, conversation, interaction, whatever in my mind. And it irritates me because I feel like I could think of 1,001 different things I could have said, could have done, Some good, some bad, some worse, some evil, some malicious, some, really, really bad stuff. But the fact that I'm just kind of still there is what I'm left with. And that bothers me because it reminds me of, I'm trying to remember how the phrase goes, and it's going to irritate me, so I'm going to have to look it up and come back to it. But, I really try to put a conscious effort into first managing and maintaining my thoughts, because for me, that's where my actions and responses all begin and end with whatever's in my head, my heart. And keeping those things centered, keeping those things focused in a more positive and a more uplifting and a more upbeat environment helps me not to just snap on people and just completely get outside of myself. As it relates to toxic people, there's a phrase in the South, I think you all have all heard it: bless your heart. Sometimes you just gotta kind of bless their heart and let that be the best thing you could do in regards to toxic people, and then just walk away, drive away, move on, and do your best to not let it sit in your head and sit in your heart and sit in your mind and be on repeat, because that'll drive you crazy.
It will. I'm study laughing. Bless your heart. Just bless you. I love it. I love it. And Terrence, what Terrence is saying, that's the very definition of toxic, right? It poisons the well. As you were talking, I was sitting there thinking to myself, that's what it is. Here, my mind is the well. You done came in here. You done dropped something that's done got in my head, and it done messed me up. So now we're talking about, and you guys may not like my answer to this, but as far as in dealing with toxic people when you cannot avoid them, because avoiding them, of course, is the number one thing. Tony took away the number one thing when he first started talking: avoid them. Just, if you can, get away from them. Rhino's example is perfect because this person is here. I have to do a job and I can't get around them. In a situation where I find myself faced with a toxic person that I can't avoid, and I'm not going to suggest that anyone do this. Well, this first part I'm going to suggest you do, which is going to mirror what Terrence said. Make sure that you know who you're dealing with and don't let them get in your head. The definition, like I said, of toxic is that they're poisoning the well. So protect the well. First things first, protect your own mindset and know who you're dealing with. I'm reminded of something I know was it's a proverb or something to that effect, but the general gist is this. When you know that you're dealing with a fool or a crazy person or whatever, you know this, and you allow them to draw you really into their world and then turn around and make you that way. It's sort of like, who does the blame then ultimately fall on? Is it the person who was toxic, or you who knew better than to let this toxic person who you already knew was coming pull you into their world? Now, this is the part that I don't suggest people to do, that I do. I can't avoid this person. I know they're toxic. They're doom and gloom. Everything is bad. I'm going to agree with everything they say. Let's see how bad we can make it. Let's have some fun. Let's turn this into a let's agree type of thing. Yeah, the world is bad. It's absolutely awesome. That's absolutely awesome. Whatever you're saying is absolutely correct. What did you say? Really? Wow. That's true. That's absolutely true. You know what? You know what I think we should do? We should eradicate all those people. We should just get rid of them. I got a gun. You got a gun? Do you have a weapon? I want to see where they're at. I have gotten the craziest reactions from people pressing them to the edge.
You an instigator. I see you.
I got a weapon in my car. I say we go to the mall and we get rid of every fast food worker that we see because they pissed you off by not serving you breakfast this morning. Who do they think they are? You got yours? You don't have? Why are you looking at me like that? I don't understand why that grazes in your face. I'm agreeing with you. You are correct. Let's go wipe some up. But I do that or a form of that. But the main thing is, like I say, protect the well. I know I don't want to let them actually bring me into that place. I definitely, if they were to say, well, let's go. Yeah, sure. Let's go. I'm with you. You get in your car, I'm gonna get in mine, because that's where my weapons are. And we gonna go to this. We go out to the mall. I'm right behind you. Somewhere between, Jaybird Street and Delome, you gonna see me take a left. Because the point was to get away from you. And
now you done hype them up, and they done went and shot up a mall. Because Sean said.
Hopefully, though, that's why I said don't do that. Don't do it that way. And hopefully I would never take it. I've never had to take it that far with somebody. We've never gotten to that. I was using it as an example, but I usually can, just sit there. I'll agree. I'll try to have fun. I'll get into it with them. Sure enough, it is. People are crazy. What? They wouldn't give you breakfast at 11:30? For real? Don't they know when you get up out of bed that everybody don't get up out of bed at the same time? Why would they have a standard across the board for everybody to get breakfast at a certain time? We should all get breakfast when we want to.
It is funny though. I can't even lie. It is funny.
Listen, and like I said, I just turned it into I gotta have some fun now until I can get away from it.
All right, that's entertainment as can be. Entertaining as can be. Me personally, you know how people talk about you have you have freedom of speech and this freedom and that freedom. I have the freedom to not care and not say anything. I have the right to remain silent. It's not a agreeing. Like, whatever, man. I think I'm quoting Redman. Whatever, man.
We're on the music references tonight. That's a good one.
You saying something crazy? Whatever. And I think they call it gray rock when you just, no matter how high or how low they are, you just act indifferent. You just act like, I don't care. Tony, the sky is falling. Whatever. Let me know when it gets here.
Oh man, I said I was gonna find that phrase, and I'm gonna have to paraphrase it a little bit, but sorry. Holding on to toxicity is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Toxic people make you do that. They make you hold on to their toxicity by replaying that stuff over and over and over, and you're thinking that that's affecting them. That's where I was going with that point. But yeah, I like y'all comedy answers a lot better, because apparently delving into either my mind or possibly Rhino's, it's a dark, spooky, scary space in there.
I'm about to reflect this back at you, because my next question is, being around a toxic person, are you more likely to influence them, or are they more likely to influence you? Can you turn the sunshine on them, or are they going to make you a dark cloud?
That's absolutely a battle between the negative and the positive. The going back and forth. That's Batman and the Joker sitting down and having the conversation. Look, you gotta change, and we've all seen that scene where the Joker's just, he starts talking to the Bat, and the Joker's making all the sense. It's like, you're the insane one. Why are you making so much sense right now? I'm the good guy. I can't run around and just be beating up on people. But Batman, You already do that. Shut up. But the only way I could explain this is just. So I had a guy when I did security. I don't know what I did to this guy. I don't know what I did to him. And it's such an enigma. I don't know if it's because I'm black or it's because I actually did something to him. I can't tell. I have no frame of reference. But this guy, he was just such a toxic person for me. And so I'm like, no, I'm going to kill this guy with kindness because that's who I am. And so I started laying on as much charm as I can. You can't put too much frosting on the cake. You just gotta layer it just a little bit. And so I kind of tried to get a little bit of a conversation in every day. And I tried to take a little piece of what Sean said and just agree with him. Yeah, you're right. I absolutely agree with that. It's kind of messed up, isn't it? Yeah. All right, man, you have a good day. Talk to you next time. You know? And I thought I was making progress with this guy. And then the next time he came through, it was like, it went from being 85 degrees with 100% humidity to like -10 below. And it's like, what did I do? And it was at that point that I realized that there's nothing I can do to change this guy. This guy's gonna have to come around on his own. All I can do is wait till he comes around. And when he comes around, I have to be prepared to deal with him in a non-toxic fashion. That was the only answer I could come up with. And I guess the best part of that story is I ended up leaving that job and haven't had to see the guy again. So he never got to come around to be nice to me and to not be toxic towards me. But he was just such an enigma. I just couldn't figure him out. I couldn't figure it out. And then I couldn't understand why it meant so much to me to have this guy like me. And so I just kind of left the whole thing alone. I'm glad I don't have to deal with people like that, at least for right now. But I just couldn't figure him out. But it's still in my wheelhouse to just go as far as I can with people positively. And if I'm making zero headway, just pull back, and wait. It really takes patience on my part. And while I love to say that I have all the patience in the world, I don't. My patience does have limits. So I just do what I can in dealing with people, and I try to be as unoffensive as I can be, knowing that I'm still offending somebody.
So, am I going to be influenced to be toxic with the person, or am I going to hold my guns and resist the toxicity? I don't know. We've been on this movie kick a little bit, and being fully honest, I am not above giving in to the dark side and, falling into the toxic behavior. For me, I really want to say it depends on who the toxic person is. If it's like one of you guys, not that y'all are like toxic people, but if we were in a mood or something kind of landed on one of us wrong or one of you wrong, I could absolutely see me following in line and be like, nah, it's about to get real ugly up in here. It is what it is. Same with family, for the most part. But just random outsiders, I would still lean towards avoid it at all costs first. That's just me. But then if I can't avoid them, I'm gonna try and do everything I can to be as positive and upbeat as possible, or completely indifferent. Whatever. Okay. All right. I got you. Sure. Yep. And just kind of let it roll off my back in one ear out the other, and not pay it any more mind than needed, or give it any more energy than necessary. Because I think for me, that's how I perceive it. This is about them trying to get a reaction and trying to get more attention and trying to get more whatever it is that they're seeking with this toxic behavior. And rather than give into it, whatever, ignore it, let it go, walk on by, miss me with that.
So let me jump in real quick. I'm sorry, Sean, before I cut you off. So you mentioned as far as the whole reaction thing, and I know I'm the Mr. Indifferent, Mr. Not Saying Nothing, Mr. Whatever man, but it kind of becomes fun once you realize that. Like, oh, so you want a reaction? You're not going to get the reaction that you want. It's gonna be like that commercial with the fisherman with the dollar. Oh, you almost had it. you just missed it. like they talking about you in the break room. What? They talking about me in the break room? Okay. like you thought I was upset? Thought I was bothered? No, not really.
I've had that happen. Oh, they're talking about you. I'm like, dude, I'm the supervisor here. Of course they're talking about me.
Even better, attack that fragile sense of self. Hey man, you heard what they were saying about you? What? I ain't got time. Hook up with me later. They've been thinking all day what they been saying about me. Who's they? I don't even know who they is. I'm mad that they saying something about me though. They are gonna pay. I wanna get them.
They are gonna get
They're gonna get it. They're gonna get it. They're gonna get it.
Like there is no them. Remember yesterday when you said that they were talking about me? I don't know what you're talking about, though. I ain't never said something like that.
Just gaslighting them.
That's the term. I think that's
man,
the term I was
you
looking for.
told
right
me
there.
that someone's talking. Man, you all right, man? You sure? You good?
You sure you good?
y'all go push people over the edge.
Listen,
That
I'm
is
just kidding.
hilarious.
I wouldn't do that like that.
but going back, I will go back. I'll go back to the original. Like Tony asked us, do we think we're more susceptible to fall into the toxic person's well or draw them into yours? I feel like, and my experiences have been that, and Ronald just used the term. I could gaslight them. if I chose to, there's like, I could light them on fire. That's what the example of talking about they going to the mall. I'm not, but they're headed to the mall. That's just how bad this has got. In terms of dealing with myself, sometimes, yeah, I mean, I you can fall in if you don't put up the border. Most of the time I was talking about strangers. Now, I will say this part. Of course, people closer to me, because Terrence brought up a good point. People closer to you, and that's usually the problem. And you have toxic folks in your family, folks that are close to that you care about. It becomes a lot harder to pull yourself out and separate yourself from it because you care about this person, because this person is important to you. And then it does become, instead of me gaslighting, it becomes a thing where, yes, I do have to try to probably do everything that I can to at least keep them on a level. You know what I mean? Now, I still probably have a tendency, I'll try to keep it as long as it keeps it innocent. And this is what I was saying about, that's why I would never be having somebody really going to the mall. Because by the time you got to that point, it'd be like, hey, wait a minute now. Are you this serious about this thing? let's talk about this for real, dude. You realize you're going to the mall right now. The shoes. Are you crazy? Have you really lost? I mean, think about this now. Think. No, I need you to think. I need you to look at me. I need you to understand what you're doing right now. Yeah. Well, you agree with me. I got it. Calm down. Bring it back down. I was just playing, dog. There was no way I was really gonna do this. You're talking about jail time. You're talking about something that, so that's when you get serious. You start talking like that. You're like, no, we're not doing that. I'll agree with you all day. Yeah, Burger King's crazy. Yeah, this folks is they done. Yeah, your job. Yeah, man, your job is a trip, bro. Yeah, that girl. Yeah, it is. But once you get into some next level stuff, I'm going to slap her and make her move all her stuff out tonight. Come back here. No, come back here. Let's talk about this for a second. All right, that's a charge called domestic violence. Number one. You're talking about getting yourself in trouble. Let's discuss this. All right. Don't do that. I know you felt a certain type of way. Get it off your chest talking to me, and then don't do nothing for real, right? So, I think I could pull and have pulled some toxic people up out of their space at times and influence them when I'm really serious to do it. A stranger, hopefully they don't go shoot up the subway, but I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with them just now.
So, on a serious note, I think that typically you're not going to turn a toxic person. Like, you're not going to turn them. Either you're going to go indifferent and just ignore and go gray rock on them, or if you're if you're inglorious bastards like me and Sean, you're going to have fun being toxic to them. Like, oh, this is a game.
Inglorious. Yeah, that's it.
Like,
That's
up, down, left, right, BA.
Altered beast mode, baby. Cheat code for
I didn't know
Altered
this was a
Beast,
game.
level 1.
Forward, down, forward, high punch.
Yes, sir.
But in all reality, if you can avoid toxic people, if you can, don't try to change them. Don't try to convince them otherwise, because chances are you're not the first person, you're not the second person, you're probably the 10th, 20th, 30th, 3,000th person to try that. Just be yourself, stand on your own ground. Don't let them push you beyond where you want to be. Don't give them the mind space, right? Don't give them the space in my mind. Like, you may think you're bothering me. I don't care what you think is going on in my head. You're not important enough to move my mind. And you kind of go ahead.
I was gonna say, so you just said something that's interesting. I mean, I'm not necessarily disagreeing, but I'm just throwing the question out here, if I may, to the group. Is it better to not try to change their minds, or not try to possibly show them a different way? I mean, have we never influenced a toxic person to be better?
So here's the way I look at it, right? By the time you realize that they're toxic, you've already put in that effort, right? Like, if a person's not going to just show up and in 15 minutes you've already decided, you know what, this person's toxic, that means that you've already had conversations, and you've already tried to be polite and kind and reasonable to them. And then you realize, you know what, this polite and kind, reasonable thing ain't working. Matter of fact, it seems like it's causing more static than not doing anything at all. Okay, ding 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 ding. You toxic. by the time you get that written on your file, I probably already gave you like 5-10 attempts to do something different or to be something different. So by the time you get the classification of being toxic, I feel like I done already put in enough effort. And now it's on you. Or in the words of the king, you're on your own.
Got you.
Yes, sir.
I personally think people like that, if they're toxic, they didn't just start being toxic. This is a road that they've been traveling for a while, and now they're on it. And sure, you can say, something that's gonna help wake them up. Maybe plant a little seed that's gonna eventually grow, and they'll realize later on, you know what, that guy was right. I was being a jerk. I need to change. I've even looked back on my own toxic traits and realized, oh my goodness, I was being such a jerk. Man, everybody must think I'm an idiot and then feel bad about it. But sometimes it takes people going through that path to come back around and realize, you know what, that was so stupid. I've actually met people that they were toxic and now they're off that toxic path, and I was coming at them from you're still toxic standpoint, but I had to realize, oh, they're not toxic anymore. Oh, so I can't come at them like that anymore, and just allow them the room to grow, But I'm not gonna fool myself into believing that I'm gonna meet a toxic person and then all of a sudden I'm gonna have the right words that's gonna wake them up and help them to, oh, you're right. I'm having an epiphany now. I'm gonna change. That stuff like that only happens in movies, as far as I'm concerned. It hasn't happened to me.
So this is one of the things I think. I think that there's some people you can talk out of things. Some people you can help with sugar. And some people, they gotta feel that pain to change. Right? Some people aren't going to get right until they have those losses, till they hit that wall, till they hit rock bottom, till they lose everybody. Like some people will not learn how to talk to people until everybody leaves them. And here's the sad, honest part about it is that it hurts me to say this because I feel like I'm talking about me while I'm saying this. Like, if you're that one person that's trying to be nice to them, you're actually slowing down the process. Like, you're slowing down the process of them losing everyone because you're there. And it's like, until they get to the point where everyone leaves them and they have that epiphany moment, maybe everyone has left me because I'm a butthole. Maybe that's it. Maybe I should stop being like that. And sometimes that's the only way that folks turn around. If they turn around. Like, some people would just be like, everybody left me because I'm a butthole. Them suckers were never loyal anyway. Forget all that. And some people will just live like that for the rest of their life.
True point.
That's a true point. So, all right, so, and I know we might be running a little long, so I'm gonna try to be a little bit concise here. Going to Terrence's question and the points that I really wanted to kind of hit home from there was just when it comes down to have we never influenced? Like I said, I believe I actually have influenced a toxic person. I like what Tony said because some people, they're toxic at a time. They're going through a growth process. they're going to be different later. And something that you said may have, especially if it was toward the positive or whatever the case may be, may have helped their growing process. So I kind of disagree with Tony when he was saying that you may be stifling the process. You may also be helping it by trying to give them some positivity on that way. And when they finally have that epiphany, they turn around and they hear it in their head in absentia. You're not there anymore, but they're hearing it. They're going through their emotions and they're saying, light bulb, I got it now. You know what I'm saying? Also, and again, some people ain't gonna change. The difference in the worth it, is it not worth trying to put a toxic person on the right path? That's a case-by-case basis, just like Terrence said, with strangers, with family, with people who are important to you. Sort of like what I said last time, I feel like it's always worth it. I feel like it's always worth it to try and not say, okay, bump you. I'm gonna let you sink or swim. When it comes down to family, a certain level is always worth it. A certain level. Protect the well. Don't let them draw you in. Give them as much positivity as you can. Tell yourself, and especially with family, this is hard, that they want to be here. They're not going to change. They may just stay right here. This may be me and my brother the whole time. This may be me and my sister the whole time, or me and my cousin, or me and my best friend. This just may be where we are this whole time. It's because it's part of their personality now, and they're just not going to change. But again, it's always, I think, like I said, to Terrence's strict point, I think it's always worth it to try, because you never know, again, where Tony was saying, where they are and may be in their growing process.
So let me jump in real quick, because I disagree. And let me clarify that. Okay, so I look at it differently than, so there's toxic behavior and there's a toxic person, right? Toxic behavior is temporary. A toxic person has been around for a while, right? They've been exhibiting toxic behavior for an extended period of time. Like, if one of you guys start exhibiting toxic behavior, we would, or I would at least I would think that we would make an attempt to bring you back, because you're not normally a toxic person, right? That warrants intervention and help. But if you've been a toxic person for 15 years, I'm not going to throw you a bone. I'm not going to throw, I ain't going to tell what I'm going to throw at you, but and I guess this is the way I feel. And I believe in family, but I don't think that absolves you. No, I don't give a darn. Last name or not, blood or not. I don't care if you live in the same house. You don't get to be toxic and still stay, in my presence, all willy-nilly. That's just not, it's not cool. Like, either you straighten up, or I will depart from you. Like, it is really as simple as that. I don't agree with, because here's the problem, is that, so if we're talking about toxic family members, right? By the definition I gave earlier, that means they've been toxic for a long time, causing static for a long time. A lot of people do that because they do that under the assumption, you gotta stick with me because we family. You gotta help me out because we blood. You my cousin. You my son. You my nephew. You my uncle. You gotta be there for me. I ain't gotta do nothing but stay black and die. Yeah, between Michael Jackson and Jesus, I might find a way around both of those. So you might.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, dog. Alright. I don't want to get back. I almost want to get back into it, but I don't want to get back. I wasn't saying, like, because I agree with you. I agree with you on if things are affecting you, like before you let it affect you, that's why I was saying protect the well. Before you let it affect you, of course you have to separate. You'll go through a setup. It's like you said, toxic people then produce toxic behaviors, and you can't allow yourself to get caught up consistently in the toxic behaviors, lest you become a toxic person or you know, an enabler to the toxic person, right? So, but when I say family is always worth trying to take them off of that path, don't get on the train with them. The train's still going. What it is every time I encounter you, I'm going to tell you, you know that train is headed for an open track down there. There is no track at a certain point on this train you're on. I'm just telling you. I get it. You just went off on me. Not a problem. But I'm going to tell you every time according to where you are with me, okay? Now, I'm not getting on. Well, come on. The train's going to run fine. I'm good. You should come with me. No, absolutely not. I'll watch from here. But I'm going to try to tell you every single time it's headed for disaster, dog. I'm telling you, you cannot keep doing this. Okay? I got you. You mad? You pissed off? It's not a problem. I'm going back over here to watch this train derail. When it goes off track, you're going to figure out that I was right. As you disappear into the chasm, you were worth me trying to tell. The stranger? Oh, I'm just going to sit up here and eat popcorn. This is funny. Watch him looking like Looney Tunes.
I kind of feel the opposite, because I feel like with a stranger, you can plant your seed and walk away. Like, hey man, you need to do a little bit better, please. You know, never see them again, no repercussions whatsoever, right? Whereas the person that's actually in your life, you see what I'm saying? The person that's in your life, I'm like, okay, look here, you've been this way for this long. You gonna have to get from around me. Like,
okay, don't say it, cold brother. All right, listen.
It is.
Fam.
It's not cold, because one thing that I have realized in these 40-something years on this world is that the people that do the most damage to you are the people that are closest to you, right? The stranger ain't gonna hurt you. Like, the stranger can be toxic all they want to, and they can only like nick you a little bit. But it's them folks that's going to ride your nerves a little bit for years. And then next thing you know, you just gonna, one day they gonna do the same thing that they've been doing for 15 years, and you gonna just, like, you just gonna black out and wonder, like, how did my shirt get dirty? Like, what happened? You know?
And the kids are running outside. In other words, the kids, all your little cousins and nephews just ran outside at Thanksgiving. Uncle Sean and Uncle Darnell are fighting.
Like, it ain't even gonna be fighting.
Slammed Uncle Darnell into the potato salad.
Darnell is on the ground. Sean is on top of him, feeding him sandwiches. Feeding him. Darnell is full, but Sean keeps feeding him.
And feed them. And
And
feed them.
And feed them.
Feed them, yes sir.
Because Darnell think that he just did one day worth of damage, but Sean is giving him 17 years of receipts.
This is true. And that's happened before, and I won't get in on that, but
So-
you're right.
So to prevent that, like, hey, I know that, and it may have a whole lot to do more with a flaw in me than with my whole, because the flaw in me is that I know that when I do blow, I blow, right? So my thing is like, okay, I'm cutting you off now, because if I let you ride my nerves and I explode, I'm taking me, you, and all surrounding areas with all of us, and don't nobody need that. So for your own safety, get the F around from around me.
Yeah, right. even though I might have the capacity of a water tower, I'm telling you now Don't you got an 8-ounce cup? You keep pouring it in there, but before you get to where it's gonna blow and flood the city, stop pouring it in. I see you now. I already see you. Stop pouring it in there. I got you. I understand your point. I get that.
Yeah, I don't play that. I don't. And here's another part. I think that it gets rough because I don't look at it as just coming at me. You mess with my household. You mess with my family. None of that. No. But anyway, I've been jabbering. But before we go, anybody want to add anything before we close?
Nah, I think we settled plenty.
All right, well, in that case, I'm going to pass it to Terrence for the closing.
So, as always, we want to thank you all for listening. If there's any insights on these toxic people that we didn't cover, please feel free to drop a comment, like, share, and subscribe. God bless you. Good night. Deuces.
High road, everybody. High road.
True. Bye, everybody. I have a good
When they go low, clip them in kneecaps. Peace.